Hello everybody, and now that we have finished our readings of perhaps Italo Calvino altogether, I am not quite sure. I might have to look into more of his works, but for the moment and for the time being, I have this journal. And so I thought I would take this time to just begin with an entry and see where I could go with it. And I sort of ended up reminiscing and reflecting over many of my works and kind of trying to polish or sharpen up on these ideas in a way which I feel like I have worded very well at this moment. And now I am sort of warmed up to the idea of reading, since I have been reading religiously to the camera extensively every day for the past few months. And so perhaps now I can work with my routine to create such an ambiance for my own words as well. Austin Hyde, 9/15/2025. I am at my place. What is a place, though? A place can be many things, but I am relatively sure this is mine. If things are as I think, the first thing that comes to my mind that sounds like me is Much Ado About Nothing. My handwriting is stunning today for some reason. Did I just cause it to inflect upon looking at it with itself, like I am challenging it? Maybe I got darker upon reflecting on myself, but I seem to think it looks altogether the same. The world seems abuzz, but I attribute that noticing more to lifestyle anyways. I am reminded of two things: a tree growing in a forest, a whimsical remark I once had about the opposite to the idea of a tree falling in the forest. I wrote down the work in a Nightmare Before Christmas journal that I gave to my father, and then to the wind, at a take a book, leave a book station. The work was detailed and highly focused, with many twists and turns, and good overall, I considered it. Like so many things, just a tree now in the woods, I suppose. The latter thing that I am reminded of is I have continually had a thought about the sensation of a buzz. I have repeatedly shrugged it off, though, thinking either I would get to it sometime or that it was like my idea on the language of reason. That turns all dust from dreams into fields that need worked. The idea stems from my thoughts on being able to understand something outside language, where the feeling that I was trying to capture of true paradise, let's say, was always woken up with realities. I then associated this with the idea of thinking or reasoning itself. I actually did my best to describe something outside language itself in my fancy of wishing such a place to exist, almost though simply creating perhaps another language with its own form of reasoning, which leads to a long road of mine to attempt a life that exists without reason, or at least a thought that somehow made sense, that it made no sense at all. These things have passed, and my interests have changed. The world being a buzz right now, though, is what reminded me of these experiences. Maybe the world can be paradise, or perhaps maybe it was, if I am just noticing the buzz now. Maybe we have the ability to always notice the buzz, or not. I have written extensively on the power of thought, where would it not be of value in recognizing yourself enough to produce clarity, happiness, or confidence, almost as much as being able to produce gold or the finest of silver? Finest is important with silver. Then are we not a paradise and a buzz? The equalization point being that if you can recognize these things about yourself, I think things can become more an expression than a definition. Then maybe you can find beautiful reasons. It sounds perfectly fine to me, but I wonder if this sounds oxymoronic or childish to some things. Like once I said serious fun and had people in a gasp. It made sense to me. Anyways, I began with Much Ado About Nothing because ever since I can remember, I always thought news was just carried with noticing. I feel I had developed this characteristic by hearing so many proclamations about prophecy and end times at one time that I had formulated the thought that maybe it was just in there being not any more of this stuff truly occurring, but that we are listening to it more, looking for the buzz, to gain greater reason. which I think reason at a point such as that can break and ensue harsh change, almost like the supporting structure of some model, a physics and mathematician's problem. I am also duly reminded of my writing, which I will not copy, stating that it is better to attempt to create new reason for the system to focus on rather than focus on changing old systems, and if you can make it relate to the whole system, you are being driven by forces without want or need, things of much greater purpose or reason. So I might add, I think sometimes it is wise to say goodbye to a buzz, for if these are beautiful reasons, then I am sure there are types of a buzz. Types of buzz. I might also add that I think a lot of this associates with fear, which I associate with great reason. Before, though, I had a thought to the right to fight, but not any representation of the fight, or it isn't its most acceptable form, the struggle, which is to say that perhaps the greatest fight is for the truth. If, though I am to remember all my words, I would also say the truth never gives up, which means it is unattainable. So in reconciling this with the fight, maybe it is to never be there. But by this reasoning, or you have taken the fight to where you are, which is to then say war is of ideas, for with the right idea would there ever be war? So the answer is to create and to use the things you have in an effort to produce something worth remembering. Then we can look at things that seem like a struggle, and it is in fact work, which is a very grounding spirit, but as I say, the most grounding, even the greatest grounding, knows the best lights. So that is the art of transformation. Then we speak of fear. We hear the most common fear, fear nothing but fear itself. Then it sounds like fighting the fight, and fearing fear is to respect it. But we then know not a fearful thing, but the idea of the absence of everything. So then we know to respect everything always as much as we can, relying on our experience, if we have it, which ultimately makes everything work, and then work is the greatest struggle. This is a grand art and a grand portrayal of my studies and the life thus far at the age of 34. All right, so I wanted to sort of finish my thought today. So continuing on, 9/15/2025, Austin Hyde. Timing of these elements are very important, and I know that if I mention their respective timings, it will shed more light. One of the greatest reasons I emphasize struggle over fight at times is due mainly to the knowledge that a struggle can go on indefinitely, where a fight is a sort of ultimatum. You see, when you say you are going to fight something, it already has a projected end, like the word already denotes that you are going to lose something already. Whether it is time, energy, heat, it directly has a cost, which of course can be used, but you should know to only fight with something for a short time, because it is a short burst, and it is best used with or as a resource that you can file away. The best you can do is relate it all to work. So even if it resembles what people think, fighting actually looks like you know how much you can file away with what resource you are fighting with. Struggling is like a beginning and the end, and then work is never ending, being like the binding of a book. Then you can see how to use emotion in life, because the more alive you are, the more full of it you are. The reason I associate fear with reason is, of course, that it gives the idea of purpose. Things move a certain way, basically. There is an order. The main things to notate are purpose, change, and memory. I could say the reason purpose can be frightening is because it can denote to a degree that everything matters. And like the fighting spirit, the only thing to never lose a fight or to have never made a mistake are similar in that a thing of either nature has almost itself never done either, because it doesn't even fight, it doesn't even know what morals are. In this, its end is its beginning, and almost the closest what we can understand about either, what allows us to jump on board with what we would call their champion, if we can use timing to make sure that things are memorable. Now that we know of their excellencies, we can find more of each, which is then that if we fear purpose, we fear work. What is the greatest order of things? With that then, may I say that if work is the greatest order, that it is best to make work relate to the struggle. What makes it more of a feeling to begin? By then we have the right to fight by these things. One can also make light of work most times, like if everything is important, then it serves to be the best at everything. Like what? I didn't say anything, I said everything. So it goes. What marks the official moment, however, I think is sadness or perhaps guilt, because as has been said in my prior speeches, the fact that good exists makes you question it because it feels uncanny, unnatural almost, and that if it is not up to chance, then what am I even? Which, if I am, as an expression more than a definition, what good thing would give itself up to chance? What is an expression? Meaning that good things might not be, and that innocence is taken. But you then notice the harsh nature of reality, which can be a loop back to our previous discussion. What makes the fact that life is a feeling feel scary because there is nothing but itself, feeling to reassure it, no other synonym, which is an uncanny feeling, and gives us up to chance if we choose to struggle with it and to fight it. But as I have said, you have the right to fight. You don't have to, but I have just seen with my own eyes those who do not fight, and they seem so devoid of feeling like they are the dead, which is when you mark the moment, what is purpose for, but to show you death. And then I've sort of basically attacked this page, and I'll show you how to fight. Like, here's an illustration of it, because I had no idea what I was going to draw. I just knew that I wanted to draw something that basically was an extrapolation on what I was saying. What do you see anyways? I mean, for me, I basically picked on what I knew I could work with, and then I replicated that idea until I saw that I could basically make something never before seen, and I could do it well in a way in which basically it shows that I can play, because I don't even know what I'm going to say, which then makes, I think, things feel comfortable even if death is in their way. And I feel like that's how you actually deal with death in a real way. Or at least that's how I deal with it. Because look, I mean, what is it, a castle right here? And this is like some Middle Eastern sort of kingdom that's sprouting up? Or is this the line of a snake? And this is the cotinous fibrous moment of its mouth opening up with its basically stretching points and these fangs coming down to engulf you. And I feel like that is a very good ending to my exercise here, and that it should be noted. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. I think this one has wings, it can fly if it wants. Starting to get ugly, dude. Well, that was dumb of you. Come here, dude. Come here, you ugly bastard. You're on your own now. You can learn no more from me. It is time for you to go on a journey. So long. Hey, I said leave. I said get. I told you to go. Don't come back. So you must have learned Shadow Clone Jutsu. God damn, you're dumb. It's just like you to fucking do that, isn't it? It is time I leave you. You have learned all you can learn from me. It is time for you to go on a journey. Wait, does this one notice the other one? Who's the real one? Sometimes it's better to say there is a buzz. I told you, you big ugly bastard. My time with you is done. It is time for you to go on a journey. is no matter of duplicates. It is now a matter of triplicates. Yes, that is the way up. Oh, uh-oh, I've got you in a loop, dude. Bro, you're too fat to fly. You realize that, right? Your wings are pointless. Hey, look. Wow, wildlife just all over the place today. Smile. Hello. Hey. How's it going? Want to take a picture of it? I got a praying mantis.
Oh, yikes.
I'm about to let him go over here in this tree.
Oh, he'll be happy.
Yeah.
No, I won't touch him. They're like grasshoppers to me.
Yeah, they're kind of spindly little things for sure. Yeah, it's good to see you. Well. I told you it's time for you to go on a journey. Hey, look who remained after our last encounter. Wonder if we can find the other row. I was already climbed clear to hell up there. I say it's time for you to go on a journey. And vaguely, everything in frame right here to vaguely go on a journey. Because I know there's 3 of you.